people. This is Keith. It's been a long time since I created another talk for YouTube, but I've been away in Sweden and working with some people connected to the idea of love and opening the heart chakra and understanding the pathway of heart intention and the processes of the mind. It was a very successful time with a lot of fun and a lot of joy. Um, and it gave me strength, which I really think sometimes we need. You know, if you're a person who is doing spiritual teaching, healing, seeing a lot of clients, then you of course see a lot of pain, and you hear the fears of people. And what I'm going to talk about in this talk is the power of our heart when we open the heart, and how that heart can heal us and how it can heal other people. The most important thing I've realized is that a lot of people get confused with the comfort zones of what we can call the personality, the ego, or the persona. And if you want to know more on these subjects, I suggest you look at some of my earlier videos, which very much explain this. If we talk about the persona or the personality as the constructed self, the self that has been conditioned from birth to fit into society's norms and has been conditioned by a various bunch of different people who tell us, hey Keith, this is how you should think, this is how you should see this particular subject. And I would say that most people don't know who they are. Until there's some massive breakdown in the system, we usually do not ask questions. It's a very rare human being that actually gets up in the morning and doesn't go through a set of routines which have been carefully trained into that child to become a response as an adult, a set of mental patterns, we could call them, a set of emotional reactions. And none of this has got anything to do with what I call the soul. And if I define the soul as a kind of bridge, it's an energy between the higher spirit, which we can call essence or being. It is the bridge of light. It is the vehicle, we could also call it, that helps us to live life after life. And in the records of the soul, all of the opportunities we've had, all of the challenges we've had, and also the pain of individual lives. If you look back, and here, I'm sorry for those who just want to look at the light and the love without looking at the darkness of life, but I know through my work that nothing works unless we understand darkness completely, unless we can face the darkness within ourselves, the lies we have told ourselves, and all of the darkness and lies which we are perpetually trained with from the outside world. The media, for example, gives us a news which is edited to our taste and is politically biased. Advertising advertises to our desire level. Whether that desire is actually wise for us to follow or not is not the concern of the advertiser. What they want you to do is buy, 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 buy. And if we look at the world now, realistically, we're on the edge of a very, very difficult period. In fact, we're in that very difficult period. We have insane sets of ideas ruling our world. The idea that we can constantly expand economic wealth. The planet isn't sustaining this. It's straining at the edges. We are destroying ecosystems everywhere. We are killing off thousands of species on the land, in the sea. Oh, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. And I am connected to a North American native Indian site, and I get the message of the day from the elders every day, and it's quite uplifting because they remind us that there's something very important, and that important thing is the laws of nature, how we fit into those laws of nature. Um, We don't fit into the law of nature if we think of the small self as us and constantly think of expansion. So you can take all this stuff, for example, the very famous and very much loved law of attraction, and you can use it the way that a lot of people want you to use it. You can visualize that giant house, you can visualize the beautiful Ferrari car, or the 10 or 15 horses that you want, and that's all good in a way, in a way. But it's not good in the sense of it doesn't fit into the laws of nature, and the laws of nature are connected to balance and harmony. It's also connected to sharing. Very few people use the law of attraction to actually focus on world peace, for example. Very few people use the law of attraction to manifest no war. Very few of them think about, for example, releasing the girls that were made slaves in Africa recently by extremists. We tend not to do that, do we, if we're truthful? Because everything that's bombarding us from TV, from advertising, is about me, 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 the small self. And the me is the thing that keeps this heart very tight. So much so, we want things like personal love, and we want the perfect partner, and we might do affirmations which are based in the ideas of the law of attraction to get the perfect partner. At the same time, we don't do our shadow work. We don't dip into the blocking energies, and we don't see how our constant me of the personality actually is very distasteful to a nice person. We might get someone who is equally me, because the law of affinity means as you vibrate at a certain level, you attract other people at that level. The law of affinity says, okay, that's your frequency, that's your emotional frequency. So I will connect you to that frequency. So you get someone equally me, and then you have a situation of tremendous dramas of me in a person in a relationship, which normally lasts 2 or 3 years and then separates. So the law of attraction didn't give you perfect love, even though you said all of the affirmations. And there's a very good reason why that law of attraction didn't give you perfect love. It's because you don't love perfectly. To love perfectly, we have to open our heart and accept. And here's another key, and this is hard for the personality, to accept someone who may love us, but who is extremely different from us. They may not have the same politics, they may not have the same ideas of what's spiritual. We might have ideas that angels are spiritual, and the other person doesn't believe in angels, but believes in the power of the human heart. And that, you must listen to your angels. And the person who says no, you must listen to your heart, has a different philosophy and a different way of working. So, how can the personality manifest through the law of attraction or any other spiritual or hypnotic, self-hypnotic process? How can it attract love when it's doing nothing with the law of attraction to actually open to what the heart wants to manifest? So here is the crux of what I'm saying. What the heart wants to manifest is the energy of the soul. And the energy of the soul is the energy of adventure. The soul loves the adventure of life. It loves the experiences, the challenges. It loves its dips, as I call it, out of the world of spirit into the world of the physical. It loves these journeys into physical bodies. It loves being a man. It loves being a woman. It loves traveling down the timeline of life after life. And it also loves its time not in physical life. But the soul loves. This is the key. It loves. And the soul also recognizes the great beauty of the diversity of ideas. It understands that one person's spiritual is another person's poison, and vice versa. It just accepts that, Religion, for example, people can easily look at, for example, Christianity and in the past and say this was a very narrow and difficult religion and it had nothing to do with the universe. They made this angry God image. But you see that angry God image in Judaism, you see it in Islam, you see it in Christianity. And these religions have a different angry God, don't they? So they don't fit together, really. This God has a different view from this God, who has a different view from this God, and what we have is a triangle of forces which actually are fighting each other all the time. So this isn't spirituality. The unfortunate thing is that today in our world we have New Age spirituality, which is often based upon these archetypal forms of the past, that talk to the angels and talk to the ascended masters, um, and you will see people have their personality preference. Some are kind of tied into the channeling of the Christian and well, the Christian not Buddhist, Christian and Judaic and Islamic angels. They channel those, and to make them a little softer now, so that they can be accepted by the New Age fraternity, they make them into female form. They still give them feathers, of course, which has never quite been understandable to me, why you would need to give an angel feathers. But there you go. An angel is, if it exists at all, is a spiritual being. It doesn't need feathers to transform itself through different dimensions of consciousness. It just uses its heart and mind. So these images are what we call archetypes. They're old archetypes, and they're being put into New Age religion. And don't fool yourself. I'm telling you the truth. It's not New Age spirituality when it has these very stuck forms in them. They are archetypal religious groups who have taken these forms and therefore link into the old archetype, but they add new teachings, so they try to create a new way of looking at them. But nevertheless, they cannot escape the archetype because they're still using it. I prefer to teach how to go to the heart. The heart is the center of love and the center of pure intuition. So my heart has shown me a pathway through life that has led me in and out of groups. It has led me to look at many different teachings, but it's led me away from them all. Now you might say, what's the point of leading you into teachings and then leading them out? Well, the heart replies to that, and it says, well, each teaching is a type of translation of divine knowledge. So, for example, a teaching based on the Kabbalah is a translation of divine knowledge placed into what they call the tree of life, and its different levels and its different qualities. And that tree of life is based on very ancient teaching. So, although it's got a wonderful teaching within the Kabbalah, it still is at some point locked into those old archetypes. And you can say the same for everything else, whether it's the I am movement talking to the masters of life, whether it is Sufism, which comes from Islamic mysticism, or it is even the Course of Miracles, which is based very much. I know it's supposed to be Jesus, but so are many of the other channelings. But it's based very much on the Christian, early Christian archetype. And although the Course in Miracles, I think, is a very interesting book, and you can work with it, for a lot of people, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because they don't buy into that particular archetype. I personally think that the Course in Miracles works great for those who need to particularly let go of self-pity and to see more love in every area of their life. And that applies to most people. But its Christian bias, I think, makes it inaccessible for certain people. It did for me. It might not for you. And that's great. So what I'm saying is all teachings, my teaching, any teaching, has a certain amount of archetypal energy in it. But the more we understand where our archetypes are coming from, the more we understand the fear-based consciousness in those archetypes, then the more we can escape them, and the more we can turn to the power of our heart. intense access to soul. The soul is, for me, a very female form. It represents all of the. I feel it this way. All of the mother energy, for me, it represents an aspect that is close to Mother Earth and the spirit of the earth. It connects to all the mother forms that I was brought up in Catholicism. I prayed to the Holy Mother of Jesus, Mary, and I felt it. I felt that connection to the mother. But I felt that mother in all forms, in trees, in the elements of nature, uh, in my own body and functions in my body. And I felt it in connectedness to every female that I met. Every female is a kind of representative of that divine feminine energy. Men also have this energy within them, and especially men who access both sides of the yin and yang, so that they are aware of love, how that love expresses as a male quality, a yang quality, which is an outgoing, kind of forceful, powerful love. And by forceful, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just a form, it's outgoing. The female is a more absorbing yin energy, like Mother Earth absorbs us back into her earth when we pass away. It brings everything back to the center. These are different forms of love. But there's a love which goes beyond the polarity. This is polarity, yin and yang, feminine, masculine. There's a love that transcends, or actually, transcends is a little bit of a difficult word for me. We can say, yeah, I'd just say goes beyond this polarity. Um, and that love is pure. It is pure expression of divine intention in the heart. I found this very much in a raw form when I was 14 years old and I had a spiritual experience. And I really found it with my spiritual teacher, John Solons, when he gave me a lot of interesting uh, openings. Most of them were not caused by words, they were caused by the pure energy of his divine love. Um, so, where are we going with this? Well, simply this, that you may be confused and you may be have followed different systems and never ever felt that any of those systems quite tell you what is the truth. You don't get to the core of feeling good about you or your relationship to this world. Excuse me, it's very hot here in Spain at the present moment. I've got the windows closed so you don't hear people outside. I'm kind of boiling. Okay, people get confused because there's all these different schools of thought and all these different schools of thought of New Age. If you look at all of them, in fact, uh, and I'm asking you to be honest here, if you look at these new schools of thought, they have all got deep roots in the past, or most of them have. And it's these deep roots in the past, i.e., in the belief systems we've held for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that create the blocks in our direct awareness. So, when Eckhart Tolle came along and brought mindfulness, his own version and way of understanding mindfulness to the world, he gave us a key to go beyond form, beyond the angels, beyond the Christian way of looking or the Buddhist way of looking, just into a direct observation of being. It's like a stillness. And when we go into that stillness, there is nothing of form. Because everything, as the Buddha said many thousands of years ago, everything that is form is a kind of illusion. I would say it's a temporary form that we use to experience life. And that is the same, not just in the physical world, but in the spirit world. There are still forms. Beyond those forms is pure consciousness. And this is what the Buddha told us. And it is my experience. In the stillness of the heart, there's no angels, there's no me. There's just love. There's just this wonderful energy of calm and powerful love, almost vibrating as a form, formless form. It has a form, but it's form. You can't measure the beginning or the end of this form. It is just pure consciousness, pure universal beingness. And that's in your heart. The beingness within your heart. When you open this, beingness in the heart, you transcend, and I mean transcend as in going beyond. You go beyond all this personality stuff you have within you, which is afraid to look at darkness, is frightened of the world. People sometimes say to me, why do you put negative things on your social media, mainly Facebook? I ask, what do you mean negative things? Oh, well, you put things up about war, you put things up about the destruction of the rainforest, etc. And I think, do I come from another planet or what? Why? I thought that's quite simple. Um, Surely awareness of the whole reality, i.e., truth of what is happening on our planet, is essential for us to actually work with the whole, what we can call gestalt or planetary pattern, the energies of the Earth in this moment, in reality, not just looking at what the personality wants. If I am a healer, yes, I know I've been a healer for many years, so I know focus on the health of the person, but don't ignore the malfunction, the bit that's not working. You have to understand it, how to heal it. These people are applying a twisted version of the law of attraction. They say you must never look at anything that's bad, so you just post like you are love and light and you are a powerful human being, etc. You can heal anything with your mind and heart. Now, all of those statements are actually true, but they're only half of the human story. And the other half of the human story is, as I'm talking to you, someone's getting shot in the head. It might be a child. Now, you can deny that if you want and say, I don't want to look at that. Another part of it is that our economic systems that want more and more and more are the reason those people are getting shot, because they are often trying to defend lands, things like the Brazilian rainforest, from the encroachment of people like McDonald's who want to put cows there so we can eat our burgers. And this is a fact. So you don't get rid of that by not seeing it. You get rid of that by action, social action, and what we call non-violent activity or non-violent protest. We get it by raising awareness of the insanities that are going on in our world. So you can, if you want, turn this video off right now and say that Keith said is a negative person. I don't want to listen to his teaching. Or you can just wait a minute and answer this question. Is Keith Surtees telling the truth? If you come to the conclusion that I may be telling the truth, that there's a lot wrong with this world, then you might want to listen to the next piece. I believe the way to change this world is to use positive affirmation for sure. But it is also to raise awareness about the things that are going wrong with this world, because we need both sides to make the whole. You might say, I don't believe in duality, I believe in oneness. Well, I personally believe in oneness, but this is a mistake to think of oneness as something that doesn't have millions of diverse levels in it, because the oneness is also a multitude of things. If we were just one, we'd have no physical body. The physical body is a separate, different form. We'd have no physical life, because physical life depends on the development and the evolution of various millions of different forms just on this planet alone. Those forms exist in this world. They are governed by a oneness, for sure, interconnectedness. But to say it's just oneness, I give a challenge to you then. So if you believe your life, wherever you're sitting in the nice house, is just the same as any other human being on this planet because of oneness, then go down to Ethiopia and legally give your house to a family wherever you are, England, Spain, Norway, Sweden, and give it away to them and go and live in their house. And say, okay, it's oneness, I can live with this. They can now live in my house in England. Do it. Now, what is your personality saying? You see, I talk of oneness, and then would I give my house away? No, probably not. And then, is that totally selfish? It's partly selfish. It's partly because from my house, from the relative stability of Spain, I do a lot of work because of that stability. If I had to walk every day to find water and food, I couldn't do videos, I wouldn't have internet, I couldn't go out and teach people. So some of it's selfish and some of it is actually a good reason, which is to live my life in the way that I have formed through my own efforts and my own focus and my own heart energy. So I'm not saying you should give that away. I just say it's so easy to say, isn't it, that all is one. It's not one for street kids in Brazil that are now getting shot in the streets so that they look, the streets of Rio de Janeiro look nice for our very rich Western football fans to walk around, get rid of the street kids, but they don't get rid of the prostitutes, of course, because those prostitutes, some as young as 11 and 12 years old, are making those men happy. That's okay. In this crazy, insane world, that's okay, but we shoot the street kids that can't be sold into prostitution because they make the streets look a mess. This is the world we live in. Make no mistake about that. And if you live in a sheltered country that's had stability for a long time, it's easy to close your eyes to all that, think it's all going to be the same. But it's not, because the world picture is changing all the time. We need to reach out with our hearts and send information to the world about the things we don't like. I don't like human trafficking. I don't like the wholesale slaughter of animals. I don't like the wholesale slaughter of the ecosystems in various so-called third world countries. And there's a great tradition of spiritual warriorship that comes out of the deepest level of love, the type of level of love which is about the person that lays their life on the line. If you look at the very wonderful life of Martin King Jr., the pastor in America, the Southern Baptist pastor who stood up and gave the great speeches of liberation for the black people of the USA, and had hundreds of threats daily. He knew his life was in danger. When he gave his last speech, I am absolutely certain that he knew on that particular speech this was the end. Now, what was his love? He got up on that platform and finished and got killed. Okay, there you go. That's love. That is love, a divine love that just follows the heart, and no matter sometimes the cost to the human body. Surely you can say that difference to those that talk about love and light and talk about always the good things in their life, which is also, don't get me wrong, a great thing. It's great to see the good things we've got, but they don't just stop there, do they? They always want more, 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 more. And hence law of attraction and the more, 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 more. The law of attraction has been made into another religion. It's been taken out of the many other cosmic laws, and I've talked about this in some of my earlier talks too. Talks on spiritual law, and it's been isolated, and it's because of that isolation, it's been overemphasized, and it's been taken out of the what I would call a healthy balance and natural balance with the other laws, such as the law of cause and effect, and everything I do. For example, the more, just take petrol cars. You want a bigger petrol car? That has an effect on the ecosystem. The law of attraction then, for if it fulfills your desire, is creating more problems for the ecosystem. Hence, that aspect of the law of attraction is actually detrimental to the ecological balance of our planet. Do you see where I'm getting? A lot of spiritual books are made very simple, and they are a part of a sales technique of selling to you the ideal life. And a lot of people who are frustrated, and myself included, in various parts of my life, I've got attracted to that and done the affirmations, etc., and got some of what I wanted. But it leaves you a bit flat. My heart tells me there's much more, Keith, and your heart does too. It's not, even if you feel your highest personality desires through the law of attraction, you've got the big house and car you wanted and big amounts in your bank account, I can guarantee if you don't feel good now inside, you won't feel good then. Because what really matters, and this is the big mistake we all make, is the inner world. How rich is your inner world? The old teachers of what they call the science of mind, new thought, which is where all of the ideas from The Secret and the law of attraction originally came from, talk very, very much about health, peace of mind, charity, care. So they weren't just talking about the personality, they were talking more about their the soul qualities, because the idea came from a type of mystical Christianity in the beginning, and they used teachings from the Bibles, where Jesus said, "These and greater things thou shalt do," those and other such teachings, that Jesus was telling us how to manifest, and Jesus was. If Jesus is real and his teachings are real, um, even from the very censored and edited versions of the Bible that come down to us, we also hear that he talked about our neighbors, he talked about society, he talked about love, very much about love. And it's this aspect of love which I think is sorely missing often in the push to sell products that are connected to the law of attraction. The law of attraction is beautiful when it is in a full spectrum circle with the other qualities. So if you have a pie chart, a big round pie with segments, the law of attraction for me should be about this big. Then we should have things like intuition. We should have things like compassion and love, social responsibility, planetary responsibility, and many other aspects that connect with awareness, a full and rounded awareness of what our physical life is about. And why do I push this? Because if we don't understand this, if we hide in our dreams, our law of attraction stuff, and we don't face the fact of what is happening, the insane systems of governments we live under, the insane practices that are done in the name of international companies, where we get luxury goods at the expense of actually living water to the peoples of Africa and certain South American countries. If we don't wake up to that, then we are taking that energy in. We are karmically responsible for that, you see. Take the law of attraction out of it for a while. Look at the law of cause and effect. Our lack of awareness allows us to actually eat foods and buy products which are destroying this earth. You don't think there's some comeback on that? You think the law of attraction is the only law that is there? I would ask you to think again. So when you look at this big pie chart with the various sections all leading to a central point, I think it comes back, that central point is the heart. So if you're working with the law of attraction and you're using heart energies, then you are working the law of attraction primarily with the energy of love. And you won't be able to just manifest for yourself. You will manifest for other people. You will send thoughts of healing. You will sit quietly, and yes, you'll dream, but I dream this way. I dream, oh, my friend, beep, beep, is healing from that situation. And my other friend, beep, beep, name that is, of course. The other friend, beep, beep, is recovering from that depression. And I focus in with the law of attraction, using them as the attractor point for this energy, more health, more happiness. I also do things like that when it comes to things like the current Ukraine crisis, or the situation with the girls that were kidnapped in the school in Africa. I look at this and I think, okay, maybe I can't do much, but maybe I can post information about this on my Facebook account or other places. I can get people doing social actions which put power on governments to take action that actually will resolve this. Because many governments aren't interested, really. As long as the economy is going fine, that is the first priority. So I call this spiritual social action. It's not left wing or right wing, it goes beyond all ideas of capitalism and socialism and political ideas. It's a call for humanity to waken up to the heart, to basically stop being apathetic. Okay. Someone recently said to me the posts of difficult things that people can't do anything about causes apathy, and I have a reply to that. It causes apathy if we are stuck in our personality and we see ourselves as small and weak. If we learn the principles of working with the power of our mind and the power of our heart, and even more so above and beyond that, the power of the human spirit, the beingness of me, then I bring a lot of power through the heart chakra. And this is a magnificent, powerful tool or doorway to creating in our world the power of the human heart. I don't really want to say much more on this. It's just I felt a need to actually talk about this because I have many pupils who know me and know that I work mainly with the energy of love, love and truth. I talk about some very basic spiritual laws which create a tremendous help for people. The basic one being what I call basic trust, which is basic trust that the universe is good. That doesn't mean to say that I think everything is good in the garden and that I close my eyes to those bits of human behavior and human consequences where pain is involved. No, I do not. And that's the other part of it, you see. That love also says, let us try and help our brothers and sisters who are less fortunate than us. It creates a type of mentality which goes out like a waveform and says to people, we're lucky, you know, we have legs that don't get blown off in wars. We have food that we can eat on the table every day. We have fresh water we can drink. Let us appreciate and celebrate this, and let us try to create waves of compassion that mean that governments and non-government agencies have to act because there's so many millions of people saying, let's change this. So I'm talking about using the heart to control the law of attraction and how we use it so we're not stuck in the narcissistic part of the New Age movement, which is all about me, 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 me. And we transcend that level to actually do some real divine work on our planet, which is the chance to bring in what Eckhart Tolle, reflecting words from the Bible, calls the new earth. The new earth. The new earth is a earth that is flowing from, in a natural way, a higher or more loving. Let's not use higher because that, people get off on that. I'm linked to this angel, therefore I'm of a higher consciousness. Not that higher. More integrated maybe is a better word. More integrated consciousness that actually says there's no part of this human family and no part of the nature system that shouldn't be under my attention. If I can help in any way, if I can, here in Spain, help a poor person and it's within my normal bounds, I do it. Not necessarily directly because some people are very proud, but we do things like that in Spain by leaving good clothes beside the bins, etc., etc. A good pair of shoes that are nearly worn out but not, they still got 6 months wearing by the bins. And I've seen these shoes usually collected by Moroccans here who don't have much money in general, and they're distributed to other Moroccans, or they're sold sometimes. They make a living on it, but they sell them at cheap prices to mainly Moroccans and Spanish families that are poor. And in that little way, you're helping. And it's these little feelings for actually going out and doing something, or motivating other people to do things which come from the heart. I'm very proud of one of my daughters who motivated some work in Karlshamn area in Sweden because she did practical work for poor people who can't afford basic things in their houses. And she got people interested in this. But interestingly, she got a lot of negativity for it, like the government should provide this, blah, blah, blah. But our governments don't always do this work, do they? When they get our tax money, they spend it on the things they want to spend it on. It maybe isn't in the areas that we wanted to go to. So we need to look at where do you want your energy to go? And if you want to give some actual practical help, like giving away a piece of furniture or a little bit of your money, why not do it? Why not all of us look at where we throw away lots of money and how just a small percentage of that could be given to someone or given to a group of people that will change their life in some positive way. And this is what I mean about the heart of the law of the heart, or the heart of the law, going out into the world, but using our brain, our conscious thinking level, not just using a dream of good, which is the beginning of it. A dream of good is a wonderful beginning because out of the inner dreams, everything is created in the outside. But not just leaving it at, I sit at home and do this and this, but actually doing things in the outside world and talking about, let's get off our bums, get off that sofa, stop watching the TV, and actually do something which creates a vibe of we care about every human being on our planet. And not just sit there, I meditate on love and light. And I connect to the highest level of angelic thought. I say, fucking good for you. But are you actually doing something? Doing something that will give to this world more energy. And that something can be that you have so much love in your heart that when you see someone, just a normal person in society, that's locked in depression, locked in a negative self-image, you actually take the time to notice them and give them some words of encouragement, because each little energy change creates for another human being the opportunity to get out of the dark state of mind or the dark, repeating emotional pattern. So that's my words for today. I hope this helps you a little bit. I'm going to do other aspects of practical love, divine love in practical ways in the following 2 or 3 videos. Yes, I talk a little bit philosophical about the various things we get involved in as the personality seeking spiritual enlightenment. But I like to say spiritual enlightenment comes from the heart. And this is what I found, and this is what I teach to my groups and the individuals that I talk to. The heart chakra knows how to love, knows how to guide my life, knows how to bring power for me to love myself. And that I will talk about in my next talk. For if we truly love ourselves, not in a narcissistic, small, fearful way, but in the feeling of, I know Keith is a good person, is intelligent, is doing good things on the earth, and I'm proud of Keith because I am Keith, and I know my heart, and I know why I'm here on the earth. If I can appreciate me, then I have flowing over love and appreciation for other people. If I don't really love me and my religion is a way to make my ego feel better, I have no love really. I can talk about love and light forever. So we're going to talk about the differences in that. A person who is stuck in a fearful narcissistic personality talks about love and light a lot. I'm so loving, we often say. Anyone that goes around saying I'm so loving, that's a problem, believe me. What we have to do is live that love. We don't wear it as a badge. Look at me, I have a badge. I'm level 25 now. I started at level 1, and the master's at level 100. I'll be there next week. You know, this kind of expression where the ego needs to show everyone what it does is all part of the deep fear inside the personality that we're nothing, that we're not worth anything. So this next talk will be about how to actually appreciate and truly love yourself from the eyes of the soul, how the soul can mend you and heal you. And from that I will show you, with the help of guides and whoever else is working with, I will show you how to relax, enjoy life, but to be in touch with even the things that once frightened you. So you can keep your mind and heart open to the world as it is, to be truthful and not hide behind the little dream of the personality, but to get in contact with the big dream of the soul, which is a world of equity, which is a world of fairness for all, which is a world where we take care of our ecosystem and we farm sustainably. We take care of the vegetables, the trees and the waters, a world which we haven't got yet because we're all locked into the present economic system, and it must end. It must end, and the alternative based on love, practical application, and practical skills on the physical level needs to come into being. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this talk, and I'll be placing another two or three in the next 3 or 4 weeks on love. The next one being on how to expand and appreciate yourself so that you can become a channel for real love in this world. Thank you all for listening. Have a great time, and God bless you. Bye bye now.